Arvit, Ma'ariv, the same root. Erev, evening. And of course the beracha for Arvit is Asher bidbaro ma'ariv rabim v'chokhmah, who, with his wisdom, or in his wisdom, creates a series of sunsets around the planet with his word. God creates the world with his word, with sound vibrations. And then he runs the world according to physical laws. And basically there's always a sunset every moment of the day, and corresponding to that on the other side of the planet, there's a sunrise. And that's why the blessing is in the plural. Ma'ariv aravim. It's constantly being evening. It's just moving as we move, as we spin 1,000 miles an hour, and we move through space, and we don't even feel it. We're spinning, and they're constantly, if you just travel around the planet, you have a constant, incredible panorama of sunsets, the most beautiful thing in the whole world. What happens at night is that it says in the bracha, Poteach sharim b'dvuna. Now, the Ashkenazi Siddur is a little bit different. It puts the commas in different places, so I'm giving you the Sephardi version. But Poteach sharim b'dvuna. It could mean, and he opens gates with understanding. That God uses understanding in order to open the gates of night and the gates of day. But really, it also has a double meaning. Poteach sharim b'tevuna. He opens up gates in our understanding. What goes on at night? Nighttime is when the planetarium opens. And we realized that the blue sky that we saw during the day was just an optical illusion created by the sun's light refracted off of the atmosphere. The sky's not blue. It's all, once you begin to understand how he runs the world, it creates the impression that we're in this protective sphere, and we're just still, nothing's moving. It's all an illusion. We're moving very fast. In fact, in ancient Hebrew, the word for earth is eretz, right? Everybody knows the word eretz. The source for the English word earth. And eretz has two roots, ras, which is running, and rasat, which is compressed. The earth is none other than a compressed object moving in space, racing through space. And it's implied, it's embedded in the Hebrew. Before you could know that, scientifically, it's embedded in the Hebrew. But the planetarium, the idea of the planetarium, the fact that the blue sky is just light refracted off the atmosphere, and that at night the planetarium opens, and we see, whoa, welcome to the universe. It's been there the whole time. We thought we were like the only one. But now we see there's stars up there, and we're part of an incredible academy of stars, a host of stars. We learn from this, the Talmud says that nighttime is a time for learning. Nighttime is a time not for physical action, because you lose color vision at night. The planetarium opens. It means, whoa, it's a time for dreaming if you sleep, and it's a time for learning. Specifically, it's a time for learning deeper things at night. Otherworldly things, supernatural things, to connect to the higher levels. We'll see how the night is divided into two parts. The first part is specifically, Kabbalistically, you're supposed to go to sleep early. The West doesn't do that. People stay up here until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and get up who knows when. But in the East, it was always go to sleep early and get up in the middle of the night. Because the verse says, get up in the middle of the night. The Shekhinah, the person who really takes life seriously, and it's a song about the Shekhinah, it's also about a number of levels. But King Solomon wrote this song in honor of his mother, also in honor of King David, his father, and also Avraham wrote it in honor of Sarah. It's for all the women, but it's also it's not just women. It's anybody who wakes up in the middle of the night, because it's talking about the soul. But she wakes up and she gets up in the middle of the night. In another verse itself, specifically in King David's Tehillim, Psalm 119, I will rise up at midnight, to thank you for your righteous judgments, for your charitable judgment. And I'll tell you what that means in a moment. But there is something about getting up in the middle of the night. And so since my purpose here is not technical, I'm going to take you through the Kabbalistic day, but what I want is to get meaning from it. I want energy, right? And so the energy I want to give you from this is that this world is called nighttime. That all of history is called nighttime, and we're waiting for the morning. We're waiting for redemption, which is called morning. All of history is called pregnancy, and we're waiting for the birth. All of history is a drama, and we're waiting for the author to come out at the end of the drama, the curtain call. That's the only reason we're interested in history. That's why the people of history. Because history is his story. And when God says it, it's called mystery, my story. Good, thank you. My story. Otherwise, why would you spell mystery with a Y? My story. Okay. Bob, you want to go back in the clock? So I went out a little bit into a bigger picture for a moment, which is that this world is called night. This world is likened to the night. So waking up in the middle of the night, there's a literal level of it, which is what the Kabbalistic do. The Rashash, Rav Shalom Sharabi, who is officially considered to be a reincarnation of the Ari. He lived at the same time as the Ra, the same time as the Baal Shem Tov, the same time as the Rabbi, his student was Rabbi Yosef Chaim Yosef David Azulai Bechida, the Orachaim HaKadosh, the Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov was born in 1698, the Ramchal was born in 1707, the Gra was born in 1720, and the Rashash was born shortly after that. So basically we say that there's a kind of I call it a cluster effect. All these incredible souls coming down and all talking about the same thing. And some of them not knowing about the others. They're all drawing from the Torah of the Ari. There's a big story going on here. The Rashash was said that from the moment he became, Aman al Da'ato, it's an expression that means that from the moment he became conscious of his purpose in this world, he never slept through midnight. And I don't mean midnight in the literal sense, 12 o'clock at night. Midnight changes according to the time of the year. Basically in Israel, it's between 11:25 and 11:44 at night. But that's not my issue right now. The point is the symbolic meaning of midnight, that he never slept through midnight, because the Zohar says that somebody who sleeps through midnight tastes the taste of death. So it's very hard. Those who talk about getting up in the middle of the night, literally. For our purposes, I just want you to know that there are people who do this. People who literally never sleep through that moment, Nikudat Chatzot, the moment of midnight. At least to know that that exists. But for us to take the symbolic meaning that we want to try and start to wake up in the middle of the night of this world. If you hear what I'm saying. To wake up in the middle of the night. In other words, to begin to realize that we have a mission, that we came here. Like I stopped asking people a long time ago, where are you from? I said, where are you born? Where were you born? Where did you grow up? Well, why did I have to change? Because we're not from here. We're not from New York. We're not from here. We came here. Those were what I call the entry points. That's where we entered. That's where our souls entered into this world. Right? We came from the king's palace. We came down. We were sent down here on a mission. So this is nighttime for us. This is like amnesia. And our job is to begin to remember. As Rabbi Nachman constantly reiterates, Zikaron de'alma da'ateh is the remembrance of the next world. But not just the next world that's somewhere up ahead in the future. Remembrance of the world, the context, the larger world from which we came. We came into this little bubble here. Right? This is a basic teaching, and it can change your life. It can be at least a component in a life-changing way of looking at life. That we came from somewhere else. And not like they talk about nowadays, they talk about